Have you ever looked in the mirror and thought, I don't feel as old as I look? Or maybe the opposite, where your body feels 10 years older than your spirit. You're not alone. After 60, our bodies start whispering to us, sometimes yelling. And the truth is, many of us are unknowingly doing things every day that speed up aging, not just in how we look, but in how we feel. Here's the good news. Aging doesn't mean decline, not automatically, not unless we let it. In fact, there are people in their 70s, 80s, even 90s who are still dancing, hiking, laughing, and living with more energy than folks half their age. The difference? It often comes down to small, powerful shifts. Choosing what to stop, what to start, and what to keep doing with a bit more intention. That's what this conversation is about today. So grab a warm drink, settle into your comfiest chair, and let's talk about the subtle things we might be doing every morning, every afternoon, every week, without realizing they're quietly stealing our energy, mobility, and joy. Because if there's one thing we've earned after 60, it's the right to live fully and age on our terms. Let's begin with something that might surprise you. Have you ever said this? Oh, it's just a little ache. Comes with age. Let's pause there, because the first thing we need to stop doing after 60 is ignoring our body's whispers. See, the body rarely screams first. It whispers gently, consistently, and often with subtle changes. A little stiffness in the knees, that occasional flutter in the chest, forgetting where you left your glasses again. But here's the thing. These aren't always just signs of aging. They can be messages, warnings, pleas. My friend Bernice, 67, used to brush off her shortness of breath when walking to the mailbox. Said it was just because she hadn't been to the gym in years. Then one day she fainted in the grocery store. Turns out it was her heart, quietly struggling, silently waving a flag. Thankfully, she's okay now, but only because she finally listened. It's not about paranoia, it's about partnership. You and your body, working together. So if something feels off, don't explain it away. Don't power through it. Speak up, ask questions, get that checkup. Because catching something early isn't just smart, it's life-saving. Next, and this might hit close to home, we need to stop saying, I'm too old for that. Yes, that phrase, those 6 little words have more power than you think. They shrink dreams. They cut off possibility. They quietly reinforce the idea that your best years are behind you. Let me ask you, what if they're not? I know a man named Harold. He picked up painting at 73, just for fun. By 75, he had a small collection. By 77, he'd sold 2 pieces at a local gallery, not because he thought he was some Picasso, but because he gave himself permission to try, to be new at something, to not be limited by age. I'm too old is rarely about age. It's about fear, fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of change. But here's the twist. After 60, we have less to prove, less to lose, and more time, strangely, to focus on what matters. So take the dance class, try the online course, volunteer, write the story. Don't let your birth year be a stop sign. This next one is a little harder to admit, but we have to talk about it. We need to stop isolating ourselves. Now I know some of you might be saying, I'm not lonely, I just like my peace and quiet. And that's fair. Solitude is beautiful. But isolation? That's different. Isolation can be silent and sneaky. It creeps in slowly. Maybe the phone rings less. Maybe the kids are busy. Maybe old friends have drifted. Maybe you stop reaching out because you don't want to be a burden. But here's the truth. Humans are wired for connection, especially as we age. Our health literally depends on it. Studies show that loneliness in seniors is as harmful as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Let that sink in. That quiet kitchen, that unanswered message, that lack of touch. It all adds up biologically, but we don't have to accept it. There are ways to reconnect, even from home. Join a local walking group. Call an old friend just to say hello. Take a community class. One woman I know, Lydia, 74, joined a virtual book club during lockdown. She didn't even read the books half the time, but she never missed a call. Why? Because it reminded her she mattered to someone, that someone was expecting her. And sometimes that's all we need. Don't underestimate the power of a good laugh with a friend, or a warm hug, or even a shared complaint about noisy neighbors. Connection keeps our hearts strong, both figuratively and literally. And while we're being honest, let's talk about something that shows up in the mirror, but starts in the mind. Stop speaking unkindly to yourself. We're all guilty of it. You catch a glimpse of your reflection and mutter, "Ugh, I look awful today." Or you forget a name and joke, "I must be losing it." Words matter, especially the ones we say to ourselves. You would never speak to a friend the way you sometimes speak to your own body, your own mind. So why do we do it? Aging is not failure. Wrinkles are not flaws. Gray hair isn't shameful. It's proof. Proof that you've laughed, cried, raised people, built things, survived things. It's your legacy, etched into skin, woven into every silver strand. So instead of criticism, try kindness. Instead of "I can't," say "I'm learning." Instead of "I look old," say "I look like someone who's lived." You are not broken, you are becoming. And every day is a chance to treat yourself with the same compassion you've always given to others. Now that we've begun untangling the quiet ways we sabotage our energy and joy after 60, let's keep going. Because awareness is only the first step. Real transformation happens in those tiny moments when you say to yourself, maybe I can do this differently. Let's talk about one that might sound harmless, but can have a surprisingly heavy cost. Stop sitting for hours without moving. We get it. The couch is comfortable. The recliner practically hugs you. And after decades of work and running around, it feels good to rest. And you've earned it. But here's the reality. Long periods of sitting are sneaky health stealers. Your joints get stiff, your circulation slows down, your metabolism crawls, and worst of all, your body begins to adapt to being still. There's a phrase I love, motion is lotion. Our bodies are built to move, not just to exercise, but to live. Let me tell you about Esther. She's 76, lives alone, and used to spend most of her days knitting and watching old westerns. Nothing wrong with that, right? But she started noticing that her legs felt heavy and her ankles would swell by evening. She assumed it was just getting old. Her doctor told her otherwise. It was poor circulation and lack of movement. Esther made one change. Every hour on the hour, she gets up and walks, just around the living room or down the hallway. That's it. In 3 weeks, her swelling went down. In 6 weeks, she could walk farther without pain. And her energy? Through the roof. You don't need a gym. You don't need a fancy program. You just need to say yes to small movements, often. March in place while brushing your teeth. Do a few stretches during commercials. Take the stairs. Slowly, mindfully. Every bit adds up. Because the more we move, the more we can keep moving. Now let's get into something a little deeper. Something invisible, but powerful. Stop believing it's too late to change. This one gets a lot of us. After all, we've been doing things a certain way for decades. Habits are baked in. We tell ourselves, that's just who I am. Or, at this age, why bother? But science and life tells us otherwise. The brain is neuroplastic. It can change, rewire, and adapt, even into your 90s. Your muscles can rebuild. Your lungs can strengthen. Your heart can become more efficient. Even your gut bacteria, which affect everything from mood to immunity, can shift in just a few days with new choices. A woman named Carol joined our walking group at 81. When she started, she used a cane and barely spoke. 6 months later, she was the one leading stretches and cracking jokes. I figured, she told me, if I'm still breathing, I might as well be growing. Carol didn't need to become a new person. She just decided that she wasn't done yet. That's the secret. You don't need perfection, you just need permission. To evolve, to try again, to imagine something better for yourself. And here's something else we need to stop doing. And it might sound strange coming from someone who gives health advice. Stop obsessing over age. I know. We're on a channel for seniors. But hear me out. Age is a number. Yes, it marks the passage of time, but it's not the whole story. And when we wrap our identity entirely around it, we limit ourselves. People say things like, Well, I'm 70 now, so I guess my knees are supposed to hurt. Or, at my age, it's normal to forget things. But let me ask you, would you ever say, well, I'm 30 now, so I should just stop learning? Of course not. Instead of saying, I'm 65, say, I've been learning and living for 65 years. I've got wisdom, experience, and still a whole lot of life left. Age can be a guidepost, not a prison. There's a man named Franklin I met once at a community center. He was 93 and played the harmonica like a professional. I asked him when he started. He said, last year. My wife passed, and I needed something to fill the silence. He didn't say, I'm too old to start music. He said, why not me? That's the spirit we need, and it doesn't come from ignoring age. It comes from respecting it without being ruled by it. Now, I want to talk about something that's not easy, especially if you've lived a life full of responsibilities. Stop putting everyone else's needs ahead of your own. Now, don't get me wrong. Caring for others is beautiful. Many of us have spent our lives raising families, supporting spouses, tending to aging parents, volunteering, giving back, and that never goes unappreciated. But here's what I see happen so often. Seniors who bend over backward to help their grown children, or constantly say yes to favors, or give their time, energy, and resources to everyone, except themselves. And over time, they get depleted, quietly, softly, until one day they wake up and feel invisible, or exhausted, or like their needs don't matter. They do. You do. Your time now is precious. It's your reward, your season to rest, to explore, to say no without guilt and yes without apology. It's not selfish, it's self-respect. One woman told me, after 70 years of serving everyone else, I finally took a vacation. Alone? And you know what? I laughed. I slept in. I felt free. You don't have to disappear into other people's lives. You're allowed to shine in your own. Let's talk about one more thing today. And this one might surprise you. Stop avoiding technology. I know it's overwhelming. Phones that update every week, buttons that do who knows what, passwords that disappear. But here's the truth. Tech isn't just for the young. It's a bridge to family, to information, to connection, to safety. One man I met, George, 79, finally got a tablet. Within weeks, he was video calling his grandson, watching documentaries, even joining a virtual chess club. It opened up my world, he said. No, you don't have to become a tech wizard, but even learning the basics, how to send a message, find a recipe, or look up a health tip, can expand your life in quiet but powerful ways. And here's the thing. Most young people love to teach it. Ask your grandkids. Ask your neighbor. Take a free class at the library. Fumble through it and laugh at yourself. Learning keeps your brain alive. Don't let the fear of looking silly rob you of staying connected. You've done so many brave things in life. Don't let Wi-Fi be the thing that defeats you. You've come this far, and I hope by now something in your heart is whispering, yes, maybe it's time for a change, a gentle shift, a brighter step, a new kind of courage. So let's keep going. There's one more habit so many of us carry quietly, like a heavy coat we forgot we're wearing, and it can hold us back more than we realize. Stop holding on to bitterness. You know what I'm talking about. That lingering resentment from a friend who betrayed you years ago, the child who never apologized, the ex-spouse who walked away, or maybe, just maybe, it's yourself you're still angry at. We think we're protecting ourselves by keeping it, but really it's like drinking poison and hoping the other person feels it. Bitterness ages you, not just emotionally but physically. Studies show that chronic resentment raises cortisol, damages your immune system, and can even contribute to heart disease. It's not just about peace of mind. It's about your body, your spirit, your life. Let me tell you about Harold. He was 82 when I met him at a community storytelling event. His story was gripping, how he hadn't spoken to his brother in 40 years because of an argument over their father's estate. But here's what got me. Harold looked tired, like a man who'd been carrying a weight for decades. When I asked him if he wanted to reconnect, he said, I do, but I don't know how. I told him what I'm telling you now. Forgiveness doesn't mean pretending it didn't hurt. It means choosing your freedom over your pride. 2 weeks later, Harold wrote a letter. A month after that, his brother called. They didn't fix everything overnight, but they laughed, they cried. And for the first time in 40 years, Harold said, "I slept without a stone in my chest." Don't wait 40 years. Don't wait for someone to say sorry. Set yourself free. Even if the other person never changes, you can. Letting go isn't about them. It's about choosing peace. And you deserve peace in this chapter of life. Now, before we wrap up, let me tell you a little story. When my grandmother turned 90, I asked her what she was most proud of. She didn't mention her garden or her perfect pound cakes or raising 6 kids. She said, "I'm proud I never stopped trying to be better. Even when I failed, even when no one noticed, I kept learning. I kept growing. I didn't give up on myself." That stuck with me, because aging well, it's not about avoiding wrinkles or chasing youth. It's about choosing to stay awake in your own life. It's about giving yourself permission to shift, to breathe, to dream again, even if it looks different now, especially because it looks different now. Let's recap the heart of what we've talked about, not as a list, but as a reminder from one friend to another. Don't skip meals and run on fumes. Don't let screens hijack your peace before your feet even touch the floor. Don't sit so long that your body forgets how to stand tall. Don't let old beliefs convince you that you can't grow. Don't measure your worth in numbers, not in birthdays, pounds, or likes. Don't pour from an empty cup, trying to please everyone but yourself. And please, please, don't carry bitterness into tomorrow. You don't have to change your whole life overnight. Just start with one choice, one breath, one brave yes to yourself. Because the truth is, you are not just aging, you are evolving, and evolution is beautiful. Here's the part where I want to leave you with something simple but important. If no one has told you lately, you are still needed, you are still loved, and your life in this very moment matters. So take care of it, not with pressure, but with joy, with grace, with curiosity. If you found something helpful here today, a spark of truth, a moment of hope, share this video with someone you care about. Let's grow together. Let's remind each other what's possible after 60, 70, even 90. Drop your thoughts in the comments. What habit are you ready to let go of? What change are you inspired to make? And if you haven't already, please subscribe to EverWell Seniors, where we believe growing older is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of your wisest chapter yet. Until next time, breathe deep, stand tall, walk light, and never stop becoming.